is going on, everyone? Welcome to another Panel B podcast. I'm your host, Alex Jankowski. With me, as always, we have the venerable Julian Edlow, the esteemed Stephen Buchanan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was very
pumping
nice.
some tires here.
I've never been called that before.
I want to make sure we all start this show in a good mood, happy mood. You know, it's a new week, fresh set of picks for week 7.
Fresh set of picks is right. It's time to get hot.
Oh, been trying to get hot for a couple of weeks now.
Well, that just means it's going to happen at some point soon.
All right. So, as I alluded to, plenty to get to in the world of NFL. We'll have our Thursday night discussion for both the DFS and a sports betting standpoint. We'll have our picks for Week 7 as well. We'll talk a little bit about the rest of the ALCS, although it sounds like tonight's game just isn't happening no matter what. So maybe we won't spend too much time on that actual matchup because it'll actually open up a lot more for the Yankees if this game does get rained out. But we will start, and of course at the end of the show, stack. Our best stack, talking value, talking saving some coin. A lot of fun. We'll get to that later on. We will start with a bit of breaking news, though, and that is that Joe Madden has been hired as the manager for the LA Angels. Not a shocker in terms of his connection with the organization, where they were at, where he was at. 3-year deal, and it's a team that is obviously has top-tier star power, but not much else after that. A team that doesn't really have much of a farm system as well. But do we like this fit? It seems like it makes sense to me.
I mean, you thought they were going to do something drastic here, another disappointing for the Angels. And to me, it just feels like they're going to be spending a lot of money to update the team. And Madden's kind of the first step in that. Consensus on Madden is either love or hate him. His bullpen management has always been questionable at best. But for a team
Which manager hasn't? Like, you stick around long enough. Like, that's the only decision a manager really makes anyways. So
that's very true.
All right, maybe that's hyperbole.
But I feel like this is the start of a new-look Angels team. I think they'll start tossing some money around to some of the free agents coming up. Obviously, building with Mike Trout, you are very excited about something.
Yeah. Bit of breaking news. I apologize. That's what all we do. Ryan Fitzpatrick will start for the Dolphins against the Buffalo Bills.
Damn it. There goes the best bet.
After saying after the game against Washington that Rosen was still his quarterback, Brian Flores has named Ryan Fitzpatrick the starter against one of his former teams. I call it a revenge, but when you play for half the league, every game's a revenge.
Dolphins team total under 10.5 was going to be a play for me.
Yeah.
The Patriots scored 16 up there, so it's still a very viable play even with Fitzpatrick. But I would feel much more comfortable about it with Rosen.
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick has the momentum. He's got the revenge narrative if you want to give it to him. Just a veteran that can put together one good drive that gets you a touchdown, and then you're very close to that team total. So just not as attractive anymore.
Yeah, he's much more of a risk taker as well. So, I see the over now coming more into play than
40
I still think the spread is probably still the same.
17 in favor of the Bills right now on the DraftKings Sportsbook.
Which is way too high for a Bills team that doesn't
It
want
is very high.
I could see this coming back towards 16.5, 16 now. It's a tough total to navigate because the Bills are already how good is the Dolphins offense no matter who the quarterback is? It's still one of the worst in the league.
Yep.
And the Bills have still been involved in some of the lowest scoring.
The Bills are averaging 18 points per game so far this season.
How many?
18.
Yeah, so covering 17 is tough when you score 18 a game.
Right. But I mean, Rosen just can't catch a break. He went from one horrific offensive line to another. Now he's getting replaced by Ryan Fitzpatrick. This kid has probably had one of the worst starts in terms of placement, management since coming to the league, going from the Cardinals now to the Dolphins, and now they're just straight up replacing him for Fitzpatrick. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, and I'm one of the biggest Josh Rosen apologists out there, but even I say he's gotten a fair shake to a degree. He's at least been put out there.
Yeah.
And they have some receivers, and the worst indictment obviously is then when someone else comes in that game and almost leads a comeback victory. Working obviously with the same players. But But before that, let's tie a bow on Joe Madden, Julian, and the Angels. This can't change their prospects at all, given that they're still in a division with the Astros.
Yeah, the Astros are the best team in that division. They've set themselves up for that for a while with the pitching that they have. But a wild card appearance could be in the cards for them, I guess. I don't know how I feel about Madden. I feel like he's more of a personality than he is like an unbelievable manager, although he did a great job with those Rays teams. But we see everybody that go to the Rays almost get given the type of they're like, we have no money. These are the players we have. You can be as creative as you want and let the manager, succeed the way that they want to succeed. Whereas these other jobs, it's kind of like, all right, here's how we do things with the Angels. So it depends how much flexibility you have, I guess. But I don't necessarily see the manager changing all that much. It's more, can the AL regress a little bit? We know the Astros are going to be there, but Oakland was a wild card team this year. Can the Angels find whatever they need, like 10 more wins with the best player in baseball and with a decent lineup and decent pitching, find their way into a wild card game? I don't think it has too much to do with anything other than a couple of teams regressing and them finding a couple more wins. It's not all that complicated, I don't think.
Yeah, and I mean, Shohei Ohtani will return to the mound this upcoming season.
Right, that's going to be huge. We'll see.
Obviously, which will help, and there are a lot of reports out there about some fallout with reports regarding Tyler Skaggs and his passing and how the team handled it. So we'll see, if that hampers the organization in any way. But yeah, and we see the pendulum just always swings the other way. They had a somewhat inexperienced manager, younger guy earlier. That didn't work out. Now they're going to go with Joe Madden, who obviously, like we said, has a lot of history there. That is that. Let's talk NFL, though. There's some news that we're going to hit on kind of throughout the episode as well when we get to these games. We touched briefly, obviously, right here at the beginning about Ryan Fitzpatrick starting, but Ryan Tannehill also will be starting, a new quarterback for the Titans. We'll get to that game a little bit later on. We'll start with Thursday night. Chiefs, bit of a slide, going up against the Broncos, bit of a roll. The Chiefs, however, still -3 at altitude, going up against the Broncos. Patrick Mahomes is dinged up. All reports so far are that he will play, though. He hasn't really been practicing, but that obviously with a short week doesn't matter too much. He could still play. Sammy Watkins also expected to play, as is Emmanuel Sanders for the Broncos. So, Bukes, kick us off here. Are you looking at the spread? You're looking at the over-under? Maybe even money line if you're feeling so fancy with the Broncos.
I mean, I have no stats to back this up, but when was the last time we had the Chiefs at -165? To me, that feels fairly small. Up against
they played the Patriots last year.
Up against a team that really offensively has been challenged. I know they've been better lately. Joe Flacco's look better. Philip Lindsay's look really good, but the money line feels awfully appealing at 165 for me. I don't really feel like that's paying up for juice on the Chiefs. I know they've had that 2-game slide, but they're going to come back here. They got Tyreek Hill back. You expect him to get a little more work than he did last time. Even in the limited appearances that he had last week, he still got a lot done. But I like the matchups for their receivers in this one. I know that the Broncos secondary has looked pretty good, but Tyreek Hill against Chris Harris, I like that matchup for him. Devontae Harris for the Broncos has been okay at best. I think there's a lot of matchups to like for the Chiefs more than you do for the Broncos. So I like the Chiefs money line, at least on this one.
So I guess my caveat to that would be, well, if you like the Chiefs and you like them to get back to who they are, they're probably winning this game by more than 3 points then, right?
Right. The sharp sides on this, the early money movement on this has been that Denver opened +4 and has already been bet down to +3, and the total opened at 50 and has been bet down to 48.5. So that's where the money's coming in. It's a tough game to break down because there's so many different moving parts, especially the 2-game win streak for the underdog, the 2-game losing streak for the favorite. That doesn't happen too much. Generally, the public loves to jump on the 2-game winning streak against the 2-game losing streak because of recency bias.
Right.
And in this situation, I think the public is saying, wow, I can't believe how few points the Chiefs are favored by,
Sure.
and going to that side. So it's a little bit different of a situation, I think, than we normally see.
And remember, though, too, the Broncos could have more than a 2-game winning streak. I mean, if you look at some of those earlier games that they lost, they were in all of them.
They were in all of them.
Teams.
So I don't think the Broncos are that bad of a team. I don't know why it took them so long to find their defense, but then here's another question that you have to ask when handicapping this game. How much have they found their defense, and how much of it has been opponents? They shut out the Titans, who just benched Mariota for Tannehill in that game at home in Denver. Tough place to play. They performed very well on the road against a Chargers team that doesn't actually count as a road game because they play in a little soccer stadium with no fans. And then the Chargers come out and lose to a third-string quarterback at home on primetime the next week. So are the Chargers even good? Conveniently enough, the Chargers and Titans play each other this week, so we'll find out who's actually better there. But this is a game that
the AFC is bad.
The AFC is bad, and this is a game that I feel like you have to do a lot of research on because are the Chiefs definitely the second-best team in the AFC? That's a real question. That wasn't a rhetorical question.
I don't think there's research.
What do you guys think? Is Houston better? Is Indy better?
I think when Patrick Mahomes is healthy, yes. But I think you have to have legitimate concerns. Like, he was arm throwing a lot of those balls in that game against the Texans, and he has arm talent. Like, that worked to a degree. I mean, Tyreek Hill bailed him out big time with a massive leap. That should have been an interception. He threw some bad picks later on as well and was struggling to move around with an offensive line that's banged up. And then on the flip side of the ball, where we know the game plan is you need to be the one running the plays against the Chiefs. You need to run the ball. You need to eat up clock. Chiefs have a bad run defense.
The Broncos can do.
Broncos have 2 good running backs.
So I feel like there's 2 ways to look at that. The Broncos, they have to use that type of Indy style, how the Colts beat them with Marlon Mack, and just play defense and hammer the ball on the ground. Whereas Houston kind of beat them trusting Watson in different situations. Like, Joe Flacco's not going to be able to make those plays if it comes down to having to throw the ball. So I just feel like like any argument you can make about this game, there's something on the other side that you can also argue, which has me, like, my leans would be Chiefs money line and the under. But I feel like this is something that if I were to bet, it would be like 15 minutes before the game when I have all the information, see Mahomes and warm up, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, the better quarterback won in that Houston-Kansas City game, and it's not even, like, you just look at how the first half ended, where Mahomes takes a bad sack, fumbles, and then the Texans get the ball right away, Watson runs it in, and then they have a lead right there, and they hold on at the end. There's, some thoughts on whether or not Mahomes should even play in this game, and whether or not if it's a high ankle sprain, you get the mini bye since it's a Thursday night, like just going into altitude, things like that. I think he's out there. I think he plays, but when you're, let's talk DFS a little bit. He is the highest priced player. He's $12,000 as a flex. It seems like it would almost be contrarian to play Patrick Mahomes in this spot.
I don't see that. Like, you play Mahomes no matter what. Like, I get that he's the most expensive. I get that he's banged up, but the upside that he brings on a week-to-week basis is just unparalleled. Like, consistently, even when hurt. We'll say that the ankle has been injured now for 2 weeks. He's still.
Well, no, it was 1 week because it was that sack.
It was 2 weeks ago because he was having the. It was the Indy game.
He did get hobbled, but he did get tackled also. All right, multiple.
So, 4 touchdowns in those games, over 270 passing yards in those games. Like, he still gets it done. So
he's played to his floor 3 consecutive weeks, which is exactly 21 DraftKings points, because that's what he's scored in 3 consecutive weeks.
So, I don't feel him being a contrarian play. Like, if you're making a lineup here, he's obviously the guy that pops out. Like, he's not going to come in at low ownership by any means.
Okay. But maybe are you captaining him?
No,
too much salary.
He's way too much salary. That's the other thing. What?
Nothing.
But
Put it this way. I know what Janko's saying, because it's how can you play him, and then we're saying we're playing him, but you can't captain him because he's too much salary.
No, I understand.
It's contradicting.
It's a raw points argument.
Right,
it's
a raw points argument. I think you can take.
Yeah.
You can eat the 12K, eating 18.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Is a lot more.
There's going to be somebody who's going to give more per dollar value on this slate.
And I would say that's probably Philip Lindsay.
Multiple guys.
You think it's Philip Lindsay,
13-2.
or is it down to Royce Freeman at 6,000?
You can definitely play both.
Oh, you
and
absolutely
captain
can.
one and play the other.
Yeah. I just like Lindsay getting some work in the passing game too. Well, neither one really dominates in those areas. You look at the
Lindsay
average.
definitely has bigger games.
Correct.
Probably because of the receiving aspect.
Yes.
But
So I think Lindsay actually makes the most sense from a captain spot between his price and what he can give you in both aspects of the game.
Sounds good. Anything else anyone wants to mention about this Thursday night game?
Pringle time?
With Watkins. Well, they say Watkins will play. That might mean he
doesn't mean
pulls another
anything.
Watkins.
yeah,
Watkins
I
plays
don't
a
think Sammy
lot.
Watkins has any impact on this game.
Well, that's great for someone who has a lot of bye week issues in a season long. Definitely has to put him in as like.
This is a tough week for bye weeks. I keep saying that a lot.
My parting advice on this game would be don't. If you haven't looked at this game from a betting perspective yet, don't open it up and go, oh my gosh, Chiefs minus 165 money line, and just take it. Like, wait and see how things are going to play out before this game kicks off.
Yeah, I don't anticipate getting any. Well, I guess my issue there is like Mahomes might not practice at all, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I don't know what else we're really going to see. I mean, yeah, there could be reports, I guess, something will leak out if there is genuine concern or not, or if it's something like they did discuss sitting him or something. I think if it's something that indicates it is high ankle, which, look at Saquon, look at others, like that's not just a 1 week or multiple week thing. Like, he could be out. He could really be nursing something big.
Just real quick, too. Do you think the consensus would be different if they aren't on a 2-game losing streak? Like, it would be so much easier to rest him if they had not. You know what I mean? Like, now they're kind of in. Because at this point, if Houston is playing like they are, like, they have a legitimate chance of losing some serious ground against Houston.
Well, no, I mean, to me, it's the Raiders that would worry me. Like, the fact the Raiders are actually winning, you're talking about the division with the Chiefs, that would make me think no matter what.
I don't know if I'm ready to call the Raiders good, but they've been good.
I don't think it matters. You think it's more like what their actual record is and to look at, nothing.
No, I know.
This early on.
Maybe I'm just still holding out hope on under 6 wins.
I think if it is,
Oh, boy.
I think if it is a legitimate high ankle sprain, I think you sit him no matter what for this week, given that he is the MVP of the league. He's the face of your franchise. Like, you could risk serious, further injury. Von Miller coming off the edge against a weakened offensive line.
Yep.
And now you're looking at a season-long injury and not just a couple weeks.
Right.
I think, I'm going to contradict myself here, but the fact that it's the Raiders who are threatening right now and not the Chargers will make me say, okay, well, I'll like our chances. Maybe we'll only go 10-6, 11-5, but and maybe have to play wild card weekend, but we'll still be division winners. But who knows? We'll see. Like I said, it's only speculation, even what the injury itself is, and they're not going to tell you. Let's give the people what they want, though. Our picks. Well, they want some of them, but we need to make some because we need to get back on some hot streaks here, including you guys in the conversation with that, because I'm feeling pretty good. Julian, start us off, man.
Yeah, Julian.
I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I love a lot of spots this week.
That is a bad thing.
So whittling this down to 2 was actually tough, and I will never waver away from the heavy favorite money line parlay, so that automatically has to be one of them, which leaves me with one other play.
Help.
So,
Without further ado.
Get your pencils and paper ready.
My two spots. This is a single game. My two favorite spots for the single game came down to the Rams -3 in Atlanta and Philly at Dallas, and I'm actually going with the Eagles. Forget the points, plus 130 on the money line on Sunday Night Football in Dallas. I think this is the perfect spot for the Eagles, and they're being undervalued for, although it was by a wide margin, a tough Minnesota team that they had to face on the road. That's not a bad loss. It's It's not good, but it's a good team on the road. Whereas Dallas goes on the road to the Jets and makes Sam Darnold's return from mono look like he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Amari Cooper, that's a serious quad injury.
Yep.
He might miss this game. If he does play, I would expect him to be limited. And above all else, this team does not like its coach, the Cowboys. They do not like Jason Garrett. We talked about on Monday the clip on Twitter of them all just walking by him as he holds his hands out for high fives, and they just walk back to the bench next to him. The Philadelphia passing game, I think, is going to do a much better job than Darnold and the Jets did. And then the run defense. Yeah. The Eagles just shut down Dalvin Cook. And people like Zeke in this spot. I think Zeke is a terrible DFS play to pay up for. I think he's going to have a similar game to what we just saw from Cook. The coaching edge goes to the Eagles. The passing game edge goes to the Eagles. The running game edge goes to the Eagles. The only thing they don't have in this game is the secondary. Oof. And I still think that Philly's going to be able to pass the ball there. So I like this spot a lot for the Eagles. And now,
here we go.
For getting the heavy favorite money line parlay back on track. 2 college picks, 2 NFL picks. LSU might be the best team in the country. They just dominated Florida, an undefeated Florida team. They're going to go to Mississippi State and win. Texas, we just saw them play neck and neck with Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. Very good Texas.
Did you see
that 3 times fast?
Yes.
Did I
see that
the
neck
Red
and neck
River
game?
rivalry?
Mm.
I did not see the Red River rivalry.
It was a very good game, and I think Oklahoma is
edge of my seat. Couldn't believe it.
It was a great game.
I'm sure.
You guys are just trolling me because you don't watch college football. Your loss. I
got kids, sorry.
Kansas, not a good team, coming to Texas. They have no shot in that game.
They have no shot.
Oklahoma just smoked them also, to give you a kind of barometer there. 49ers are minus 400 in Washington. I don't think we see the Skins winning 2 in a row here. Patriots minus 385 on Monday Night Football against the Jets. 4 plays. They give you minus 120. Standard juice.
I'll give you a modicum of credit given that you didn't include the heaviest favorite, and that is the Bills.
The Bills?
Yeah.
It's called the heavy favorites money line parlay, not the heaviest favorites money line parlay. And this is a science. A lot goes into this. This is not just picking the highest numbers on the board and throwing it against the wall. You guys may think it is, but this is probably one of the hardest things to calculate out there.
And it usually doesn't work.
It hasn't worked lately. It was working. You know when it stopped working? When we started giving plays on this podcast.
Oh, so it's the podcast's fault.
They're all
it's the media.
Timestamped on Twitter. They're out there.
Man.
That's what you got. We can't argue with it anymore. Like the results speak for themselves.
Right.
The results will speak for themselves. We have 17 weeks of this.
Oh, God.
Had we started earlier, it would be it's 3-3 on the year.
What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Thank you.
We're going to have winning results at the end of the season on it.
I heard that before, too.
Yeah.
49ers minus 9.5. I just don't think that's enough against the Redskins. What? I'm not taking the money line. I'm taking the spread. You took the money line. I just think 9.5 is not enough against the Redskins.
Agreed.
So that feels like a really decent value spot.
AP might have like 16 carries for 30 yards in this
game.
Especially
because they're,
hopefully people, I'm hoping he gets some ownership after that big game in Miami.
Oh, he 100% will.
Yeah. People also
the recency bias.
Watch the 49ers. Like, we forgot they were a team for about 4 weeks, and now, like, their run defense is legit. So
the run defense is legit. Their secondary
was on
is
Malcolm
legit.
Brown last week. Like, could have saw that coming a mile away. Oh,
that burned some people.
I loved Carlos Hyde. I should have played Carlos Hyde. Go ahead.
So 49ers minus 9.5. Texans +1. I'm honestly surprised that they're the underdogs in this game against the Colts. I know the Colts have looked fantastic. Marlon Mack is probably going to give them fits in this game, but I will take the Texans as underdogs any day. Even if you want to take the money line, which is +102 right now, that's cool. But +1, obviously the money line is a little bit better, but at +1, I'll take the Texans there. So those are my 2 picks. Tune into the sweat to see if I've changed my mind on Sunday. That is bound to happen, but I feel quite confident that I'll be sticking with that as the week progresses.
I was very close to making Texans +102.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah, one of them.
I actually like the Colts in that game.
I did like the Colts. I changed my mind, but I didn't make it an official play before changing
Do
my
you
mind.
like it because of their defensive line against the Texans' offensive line? Because that's my only
That
worry.
certainly plays a role, as well as their ability to do what they did to the Chiefs to the Texans.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it is just more narrative than anything, just the Texans getting up for that game last week and just having a history of letdown spots, in particular with this certain head coach. So that was it. I mean, it's not like I love the Colts to make them a play here. Anyways, I think it'll be a good game. I was surprised still that it was just the 1 point and that it is in that favor. So, maybe others are in line with my thinking and they're the ones setting the line. So we'll see. We'll see how that changes, though. We'll see. I think we will see some line movement there, maybe in the Texans' favor. It might become a pick 'em by Sunday. We will see. So for mine, just 3-point road underdogs have been so money. And we've talked about it, and I've got a pair of them here that I really like. The Cardinals, +3 on the road against the Giants. A lot of question marks still for the Giants on a health side. Saquon was supposed to come back last week against the Patriots, didn't. Thought would be, well, that must mean he's coming here, but still nothing definitive in that regard. Ingram as well. We know he's going to be in a smash spot. But, he has to be healthy first. Cardinals getting not healthier, but Patrick Peterson is back from his suspension. Not like there's any one person you would key in on the Giants to slow down. Golden Tate, I guess, but even still, regardless, could help out on Ingram if he plays.
Yep.
And, I think they got the better quarterback. I think Kyler Murray is a lot more comfortable now. He's still never going to look comfortable because that's his style of play. But you can tell, like he's finding his receivers better. He's finding the throwing lanes and getting time. And if they can just convert a little bit more in the red zone on the plus side of the field, I really like them. And so certainly getting +3, I like that there. And then the other one, this one really confused me. The Saints +3.
I knew you were going there.
At Chicago.
I like the Saints a lot.
What did Chase Daniel show you? What has Mitchell Trubisky shown you if he ends up being the one playing that should make them home favorites? Teddy Bridgewater is serviceable. Teddy Bridgewater is a really good backup. A really good backup is going to be able to let his defense do the talking. They have the better defense in this matchup. They're better in the backfield. They're better in the wide receiving game. I think they have, Marshawn Lattimore should at least be able to somewhat contain Allen Robinson. So again, just getting the 3 points, it doesn't even mean that I think they're going to win, but it's going to be a close game. Like the Saints
every week have been a team that you take the plus points and then they wind up winning. They've been underdogs so many times.
They're +145 on the money line.
Was it a good parlay last week?
If you want to go there.
Yeah, I don't do underdog parlays. I do heavy favorite money line.
Oh, I'm sorry. I only won, but that's fine. Do you still feel the same if Kamara's out? Because he's supposed to be limited the entire week with a shot to play.
I don't, I'll wait to see how. I think that might affect line movement and might even help us here. Because I think the Saints are resigned, if you will, to playing close games and letting their defense win while Drew Brees gets healthy.
Yep.
And so Kamara, certainly if they fell behind, would be in trouble. Without Kamara, I don't see them falling behind much in this game, or at least falling behind so much that the game script would change.
And Trubisky's actually not even out yet, technically.
No, he might.
Right.
He might
play. Which wouldn't affect me whatsoever. In terms of how I feel.
I'd actually would like the Saints more if Trubisky is in. Quite honestly,
this is kind of like the Tennessee line.
Right.
Where if Trubisky gets ruled in, this line won't. Kamara might swing it a half point or a point.
I think Kamara wouldn't change it.
Trubisky won't. As soon as Tannehill got named the starter over Mariota, that line didn't budge. Nobody cares.
Yeah, Saints over-under might drop if Kamara's
True.
out. Let's actually talk about that, though, because I did mention we wanted to hit on what the news has been. That news has been that Ryan Tannehill will start for the Titans, who are 2-point home favorites against the LA Chargers, everyone's yearly dark horse Super Bowl team. Over-under is 39.5. How are we feeling about this game? How do we feel that Tannehill will perform against this defense that's okay, but like does it change anything? How do we look at this game?
I actually like the Chargers more away from home.
Yeah,
sure.
Like they
less of a story.
literally play better away. So if you're taking point spreads and points are factored in for home field is worth 2.5, 3 points, you're technically getting a few points of value in the Chargers here. Still doesn't mean I necessarily like them.
Yeah.
When you said they literally played, I thought you were going to go with the fact that they played the Steelers like fight song in the fourth quarter.
Oh.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
They played the Steelers fight song and then quickly tried to rickroll it. The only issue is they were losing 24-10, and it was 95% Steeler fans.
So it just
they
got
just
overtaken.
overpowered and
Yeah.
sang it. And one of the linemen or something on the Chargers said that guy should be fired. Like they're trying to get people fired.
Brutal.
I think the Charger secondary is still viable.
Of course.
You know, and I think that's the thing because
As is the pass rush.
Casey Hayward is going to be shadowing Corey Davis most likely. So, you know, what does that leave for Tannehill? Tajay Sharp, Adam Humphries. Not exactly a core that I'm going to be relying upon to bet on.
Think about how the Chargers have lost those last 2 games, though.
No, I know.
No, it's been big game from James Conner, big game from Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman combined. This is going to be a Derrick Henry game.
Last week should have been a Derrick Henry game, too. Because, I mean, I would say if there's a hole in the Broncos defense, that would be the spot. But he was getting absolutely nothing on the ground. I think he was averaging
he had his worst game of the year. By
yeah.
Well, when you got a noodle arm quarterback, that's
so
what happened.
It's. I mean, I want to lean. I don't want to bet on the Chargers, but if I were choosing, I would want to lean the Chargers in this spot. Because even with the thing with Mariota, too, is that obviously he can do it with his legs. He hasn't been doing that at all this season.
Yeah.
You know, like,
at
least that was.
He hasn't done it really at all in his NFL career. Like,
no.
He caught his own touchdown pass. That was really cool. Remember when that happened? That was fun. Way to go, Marcus.
But, like, if you were to consider him a mobile quarterback or not, he is a mobile quarterback, where Tannehill is absolutely not.
Hey, he's a former wide receiver.
Right. Well.
And then tore his ACL.
So
I digress.
Yeah, I would lean with the Chargers, but personally, I would have no interest in this game at all.
Fair enough. All right, well then let's just stop talking about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit baseball. Like I mentioned, there is supposed to be a game tonight, Game 4 of the ALCS with Houston up 2-1. Is going to be, if it happens, a bullpen day for the Yankees, who pretty much had a bullpen game last game.
Yeah, no kidding.
As well. It's really not working out for them. But what is working out for them? Mother Nature. It's supposed to rain heavily all day, all night in New York. So the idea here is that
it is rained out.
It is officially rained out.
Looks like that just happened.
Look at that timing.
They go.
Who says they don't break news on the Penalty Beat podcast?
It's like a third one already.
Yeah. I mean,
just this episode.
Yeah. Keep sticking around, guys. We're going to continue to break news. So that is postponed. Right now, at least, we don't know if this will change or not because it will change the rotation for the Yankees. They're going to get Tanaka now for Game 4. Astros minus 360, Yankees plus 285 to win the series. Do we now think
do we know who Houston is going to pitch?
Well, that could change it now, too.
Right.
Would it have been?
I think because they were looking at a bullpen game as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
DK Sportsbook has odds up, one of the only places that has odds up for if the game was to be played tonight. No starting pitchers, no totals listed, just plus 102 Astros, minus 117 Yankees. I don't know if they had anyone either, right?
To be determined on MLB.com.
So you probably want a little bit more info before you bet on this series, is what we're probably trying to say here.
Well, I mean, understand that if Verlander can't do 4, he'd be in 5 then. Because he didn't pitch Game 1.
That's correct.
He pitched 2. So this is...
2. That's right.
Put it this way.
Is Greinke going to pitch Game 4, maybe?
If they went by their rest, then yes.
I think I like the Yankees in Game 4.
Oh, in Game 4. Okay. I don't like them at all for the series.
Tanaka Game 1.
Yes,
so
it was.
Let's put the same rest for both of them.
So, I mean, in terms of the series, I think this is already wrapped up for the Astros. One of the pieces that I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
This is all Twins backlog.
No.
Yeah.
One of the biggest in the series, the 2 series that they face each other in this season, the Astros absolutely dismantled the Yankees bullpen. Their FIP was over 5. They hit, I think it was 17 home runs against them. Like, they just absolutely took away what was by far the strongest point for the Yankees, aside from their offense. The starting rotation is questionable, but they always had that lockdown bullpen. The Astros were able.
Betances was healthy. He wasn't healthy all year.
Yep. So I think that's the biggest thing for me now is that they have the bullpen. They get Tanaka on the road where Tanaka has been so much worse. I just think this is in favor for the Astros, and I think we'll see an Astros Nationals World Series.
I mean,
it'll still be Tanaka at home. They're not going to move where they play Game 4 just because it's raining.
Okay. I wasn't thinking they were going to move it, but I thought that was a home game for the Astros.
No, four is in
the Yankee Stadium. You're right.
So, okay. Well, regardless, is then minus 360 value to you?
No.
Well, you're not the one who said it was as a lock as Steven. That's why I posed the question to Steven. I apologize I didn't address him. I kind of just looked at him.
I thought it was an obvious answer.
I mean, I think it's too late now. Like, if you were going to bet the series, you already missed the boat. Like, 160 is just a little too much for me at this point. Huh?
360. Full circle.
360?
It's minus 360.
Oh,
They're up 2-1.
absolutely not.
160.
No.
Sure, you take the
Yeah.
Astros.
No, absolutely not. Then with 360, no way.
All right.
So no one's on plus 285.
Since Bucks has this as a runaway for the Astros, DK Sportsbook has plenty of value here that it does offer. Astros minus a game and a half, minus 130. So to win the series by 2 or 3 games.
Right.
It basically, they just have to win it before Game 7, is what you're saying there. At minus 130. Exact series outcomes. If the Yankees aren't going to win another game, 4-1 is plus 285. 4-2 is plus 200.
Take one.
I don't want one. Does anything stand out to you?
I wouldn't be betting how the series would end exactly. I don't like any.
But if it's over, then you're saying there's no chance this goes to a Game 7. And if there's no chance it goes to a Game 7, you can get the Astros to win minus a game and a half at minus 130.
Okay.
I've now talked you into a bet.
No, I think I misunderstood. I think I misunderstood what you said originally. So then,
yes, it's basically a spread for the series.
Plenty more, of course.
Okay.
So minus 1.5 is minus 1.5 games. That means a 4-1 victory or a 4-2 victory.
Okay.
You win.
Okay.
If it goes to a Game 7, you lose no matter who.
Then yes, I would be very interested in that.
Okay. Good.
We just created a new occupation for Edlow where he's just like bet salesman. Like he'll go and just
I'm a great
pyramid scheme guy.
Explainer of bets. I'm a great
just not taking good bets.
I'm a great gambling what's the word I'm looking for? I'll be your advisor on these are the prices. This is what is worth this. This is what is worth that. The bets for myself right now are in a cold streak, but I'm very good at advising you. What does this mean? What does that mean? What do you want to do if these are your thoughts?
Listen, you gotta take LSU. It was neck and neck the whole game, bro.
And with that said, that skill is going to translate into more wins soon. It's just been cold lately.
Ladies and gentlemen, a reminder that odds and lines are subject to change. Please see website for actual odds. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and would like some help, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Can I throw something in real quick about the
Fine.
Nationals?
Yeah.
Since they went to a 7-game series in 1985,
Okay.
9 teams have now swept.
Mm-hmm.
Of those teams to win the World Series,
None of them.
1 in 7.
Yeah.
I
I'm just
thought that was
thinking
pretty
of like the
interesting.
Rockies that year.
They
played the
they
Red
get
Sox.
so much rest for like a really good rotation, which is great. But the lineup wasn't hitting that great until it won in Game 5 in LA. So like, does this lineup cool back down?
I think it could.
The pitching can't get any hotter. Like the rest can keep it the same, but it can't get any better. That's why I was gonna say, like, if you're gonna bet on the series, do you just bet on the World Series? Like, Houston's minus 360 in the series. Do you just take a minus 12 to win the World Series and get as close to even as you can there? If you're going to go Yankees, like, if I was going to bet on the ALCS, the only thing I would consider right now is Yankees plus 285. I think they have the advantage at home in Game 4, and then those odds are going to be much closer to even. They're not going to be even. Houston's still going to be favored. But if you're gonna do that and you're gonna fade the Nationals, you look at the World Series odds. That's our plus 550 on the Yankees. Like, that's some of the best odds you're getting on the Yankees all year.
Yeah.
And here we are in the middle of the ALCS. Why would you back down on them now? Like, they were plus 300, plus 350 coming into the postseason.
Yeah.
Like, you're favored in Game 4 in the middle of the ALCS, and you're plus 550 to win the World Series now. Now seems like the time you pounce on the Yankees.
I'm not going to win.
What it all comes down to, ladies and gentlemen, is value.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. Oh, I still need to finish my stack.
Look at where that leads us to our all-time stack segment.
What a transition.
All-time stacks, ladies and gentlemen. Value, all-time value stack. So what that means, your all-time value DFS or betting play, your all-time value bulk buy, which is probably just going to end up being food, your all-time value entertainment. What gives you the most bang for your buck, or maybe it's even free and it entertains you. Please remember that we do not want to swear or curse or discuss anything too graphic. Roast beef three-way was like as close to the line as we can get.
That was because you guys took it over the line.
I said
I
we
was
stayed close
saying
to the line. The shirtless Bukes with the smathering himself in barbecue sauce.
again. I didn't bring that up.
Barbecue sauce, mayo, and cheese.
Yeah, thank you.
Dribbling down his bare chest.
Have you tried it yet?
No.
You live across.
All right, we're not doing it,
Fine.
guys. And then Flex, choose anything you want. Just not this conversation. Buke, start us off. All-time value stack.
So for DFS purposes, there's one baseball player in particular that I'm always playing, and he's never expensive.
Okay.
Stephen Piscotty from the Oakland A's.
Okay.
I don't know why he's consistently
Not
in like the
Andrew
3K range, 3,500. The guy hits like 25 bombs. He always hits lefties, and nobody cares about him, except for me.
Probably because he plays in Oakland.
It doesn't matter. But he's like literally one of my favorites.
Sure.
I will
One
always.
One of your faves.
Yep. So Stephen Piscotty is that.
Up there at Lenny Moore. He's on your all-time stack of faves.
What do we got to get rid of this?
Oh, it's been one episode. We've got at least a
it's
5
pretty
episode
fresh.
run.
One episode, but it's been
fresh.
like hell for the past 72 hours since it happened.
Probably shouldn't have come up with Lenny Moore for your Colts running back.
You know, talk
Or
to Matt.
remind us that he went to the Hall of Fame.
Talk to producer Matt. Yeah. Where'd you get that information from? Producer Matt, because he did some great research.
No, I tweeted it out after. We're not doing this. Not going down this road. Go. Continue your stack.
No, let's hear it.
You should have been the one bringing the information. If
I
you're
did
gonna
have the
list him as an
information.
all-time
I
great.
left it on my. It was on my
true.
iPad. I left the iPad. That was my apologies. I came unprepared. It was a Julian episode for me, so I'm sorry.
I still haven't
You
finished my
just
stack,
ramped
but mine
up
will be
my
good.
expectations with the candle, and now flop.
That's so true. Okay, bulk buy. I will never pass up getting like cheese fries.
Okay.
Cheese fries with jalapenos.
With the calamari, with the roast beef. Starting to learn a lot about.
There's a certain fast food establishment,
Okay.
one of the big three, that currently offers that. It doesn't begin with an M and it doesn't begin with a B. It begins with a W.
Okay. Fair.
They
I
offer
think
it,
we got it now.
and then
They don't.
How is
cut
that a bulk buy though? Like I don't. That's the only thing that I don't have finished in my stack, is I'm still creating it right now. I don't have my bulk buy
It
yet.
can be.
I
It
guess
can be
it depends
food.
on the.
It can basically be like per dollar. Like this is a great value.
Okay.
30 rack and another.
Well, they
beverage
have
that we
36 racks now, so that's where you would go for the value.
want. I'm writing your stuff for you.
entertainment.
Yeah.
I love going to batting cages.
Okay.
Like I could spend like an hour in there because I just love all the bombs that I watch. Like
Other people.
no. I'm just out there cracking bombs. Like I know that it's an enclosed fenced area, but like I can just tell like that was gone. Like it comes off the bat, you can hear it, and you're like, holy
that
crap,
one
All right,
gone.
Uncle Rico.
But it's gone. Like my kids watching, I'm
Hit
like,
it
Dad,
over them mountains.
my kids are watching. My dad's like, holy crap, and I'm like, yeah, your dad's strong. Doesn't look like it, but he's got some power in the wrists, in the forearms, and the biceps.
The follow through. It's really in the follow through. I can imagine you making your significant other like wheel a chalkboard and like mark that one down. That one was gone.
Oh,
Okay, great. This
Flex.
is value for me.
Flex. If I don't feel like spending up for some alcohol, I'll just buy some cheap beer. It begins with an N.
Okay.
Reminds of Hattie. It's basically the
Pretty
HUD.
light.
You mean the Falcons quarterback, Matty Ice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't care. You can call me trashy all you want. I'll buy that for $4.
All right, you want value, like just go tap water and it tastes the same and it's
Yeah, I don't care.
free.
You can say all you want. This is my stack, not yours.
That's true. And that it very much is.
There you go.
All right. Mr. Edlow, are we done? Homework done? Passed it in?
No, I'll finish it as I go. All right. So I took this as like my the greatest DFS or betting value that I've ever had.
As is your prerogative.
And it is not even close. 2018 World Series, Steve Pearce.
Oh, my.
Right.
Plus 3,000 to win the MVP. That one played out. For those of you doubting my cold streak, there are moments like this. This is why you follow along. Steve Pearce, plus 3,000. I picked 2 players. The other one that I took was David Price at plus 1,800.
Yep.
And people argued Steve Pearce shouldn't have won it. David Price should have won it. So I had myself covered either way. So but plus 3,000 is more than plus 1,800. That was great.
I remember us texting each other when he hit the second home run in whatever game they ended up clinching it. And we're like,
you want to talk about hitting bombs? Steve Pearce spent the whole World Series hitting bombs.
It was like me in the batting cages.
So many cheese fries.
Yeah, that guy must eat his cheese fries.
Hey, they're good with jalapenos.
All right, what's the next one?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Entertainment.
Food. Bulk buy.
A bulk buy.
Oh, the bulk buy? Yeah, so, like, I guess how you were just saying, like, I can't get, like, if I go to one of the fast food places and it's, like, 4 or 6 nuggets for $1.99 and then a 20-piece is, like, $3.99 or whatever, or $2.99. It's like, well, that's dumb. I'll just get 20 and like maybe share some, or I'll just eat 20 nuggets.
Doesn't share.
Yeah, you're trying.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying as I'm clicking the button. I'm like, I only need the 6 or the 4 or the 10 or whatever, but like the 20 is right there for this much. Maybe some so and so, and then I just eat 20, obviously. But that's how my thought process works.
Convince yourself.
Entertainment.
That is a chalk play looking at producer Matt's stack as well.
Yeah, that's not doing his research
play
ahead of time. Oh, no. Oh, he said that.
I didn't see his. I was thinking off of Janko's example, though. Like, it could be food, whatever.
No, it's a good choice.
Entertainment. Bukes will like this one. There's a new establishment in town, a place that you can
tread lightly.
Wager.
Oh.
What?
There's a casino in Boston.
Oh.
I'm not saying the name of it.
Been there already. Many times.
So this is kind of entertainment because of everything you can do. The buffet at this place, Steve loves. It's a little expensive for a buffet, but it's very high end.
You know how much calamari you can get at that buffet? It's in like these little tin cans.
Calamari, sushi, shrimp cocktail, crab legs, ribeye, lamb chops, whatever you want. What makes it more valuable is sometimes people like Steve and I get it for free. That's very good value.
Yeah, lose enough big money line parlays, they're going to let you eat anything.
This place doesn't take money line parlays.
Not yet.
Not yet. When they do, I'll be there.
Live there.
And then it was also like you're in the middle of a casino, so it's entertaining. You're watching people. You're seeing what's going on. That's high entertainment value. My flex, I thought was obvious, so we'll see if Janko goes with it. The flex for value is the DK kitchen that's like 30 feet behind us that just stocks up on all the food and drink and all the snacks that you could ever want. What is more valuable than having the lovely DraftKings kitchen filled with food and beverage and whatever you may need right behind my back, just a few feet?
Yeah.
Wow.
Am I wrong?
I'm not going to argue with that.
No,
great value.
You can't argue with that.
Producer Matt's, we'll run through these real quick. His favorite bet, underdogs against the Chargers. He thinks there's good value there.
Too bad Tennessee's favored this week.
Yeah. Dolphins didn't cover that game either. Bulk, he went fast food chicken nuggets, so there you go.
Oh, all right.
Free ads. Entertainment.
Sorry, Slates, I didn't see that.
General people watching. Again, probably similar to casino. And then his flex is his iPhone. That's not value.
Those are expensive
They
these
don't
days.
even let you buy it straight up now. Like, you have to do the plan where you're paying every month.
It's really obnoxious.
All right, so creme de la creme here. My favorite stacks value. For DFS, this is similar to Edlow. It's like that one that you made. Early on in my tenure on MLB Network, I was stacking the Cubs, and I have to like give names, and I threw out David Bodie with some like, well, he hits better away from Wrigley Field, which is probably like 1 point better, and he was like $3,000. He hit 2 home runs that night. I ended up having him in my lineup as well. One of my more profitable nights as well on DraftKings. They like played it now every time before my next appearance. They like did a flashback to
Alex
it.
was right one time.
Claim to fame.
There's luckily no timestamp on it, so that will forever be my favorite value. David Bodie, thank you very much, sir. My bulk buy, which was a food, and it works for bulk buy anyway. It's whenever an arena or a stadium has a $1 hot dog night, I will make my way there. I went to Philadelphia for a Sabres Flyers game once, and despite all the heckling that I got from Flyers fans, it's worse than Boston fans. I will say Flyers fans are worse.
Philly fans,
We
worst of the worst.
really bonded over those $1 hot dogs. Like, I didn't eat the whole day prepping for it. It was amazing. As many $1 hot dogs as I could shove into my gullet. Entertainment. For value, early 2010 sports video games. Xbox in particular for me. Like, I still play NHL 2011.
Those are like $3.
College football 2014. Like, just because they stopped making them. But, like, once it became clear, like, if you're not upgrading the system and these are just roster updates, like, go into Dynasty mode, just go ham. I still play them all. And MLB, like, 2K12 or whatever, like, still a blast. I mean, I pay attention to my kids and stuff, don't worry. But still, I have a lot of fun doing that. And then flex. For value for me, my flex is Twitter. It's free. It's very valuable. I'm the biggest pessimist in the world already, so I already have a very negative outlook on things. So, like, that doesn't bum me out about Twitter. It's just affirmation for everything that's going on in my head anyways. So that part doesn't really mess with me too much. And then, like, just watching people make fools of themselves on Twitter is really one of my all-time greatest pastimes now. I mean, since I've started working at DraftKings, so you're following, you know, DFS and now sports betting personalities as well, and these people who try so hard to become, like, to make it sound like they're the greatest, you know, thing in the world. And then it's great about Twitter, screenshot life. Like, and I mean, like, if you're trying to delete tweets, everyone has screenshots of things you've said. It's amazing. It's so much fun to watch people trip over themselves. I, like, rarely tweet, and a lot of times for that reason. You know, nothing's definite, man. Nothing's forever. So that is my flex value is Twitter.
That was actually that was a good call. That was a layup of an answer. Twitter is such the best free entertainment you can ask for.
So that's gonna do it, I think.
Oh no,
we didn't touch on the XFL draft like I wanted to. Apologies,
yeah.
Sorry, Kristen Michael.
I was just gonna say I've never been to like a $1 hot dog or a $1 beer game. They don't need to do them here in Boston with the market, and I just haven't been to one. I'd like to go to one.
They're a blast.
And it reminded me, didn't like a team recently in baseball do like a throwback to like 5 or 10 cent beer
10
night?
Cent beer,
and there were
Indians.
just Indians did 10 cent beer night, and people were just
because it was
killing each other in the stands.
Yeah, it was in the excuse me, in the 70s they did a 10 cent beer night.
Here,
it was like infamous.
I do have the right article. 2009 maybe this was.
Yeah, so they did try to pay homage.
Oh, this wasn't recent. Okay.
Well, they did it again recently. I think they put a limit on it, though.
No, they have to.
Yeah.
No, unlimited.
No, but when it first happened in the 70s, it was kind of like the Popeyes chicken sandwich, where like they ran, like it just became a nightmare. It was almost too good of marketing. Yeah.
20 beers, please. Here's $2.
Yeah, $2.
Gonna have a great time.
Go get hammered
At
for
that
$2.
point, quality does not matter. All right. Well, we will be back on Monday here at the Penalty Podcast. Recap our picks, update the scorecard, the leaderboard will remain unchanged. Let's be honest.
Oh,
got a little bit of wiggle room up at the top. Getting
Not
lonely
for
up
long.
there, though. Let's see these
Not
guys.
for long.
Hopefully, their picks can come through a little bit.
Let's see if I change it.
Yeah. For the Penalty Podcast, that is Julian Edlow. That is Stephen Buchanan.
Hello.
This is Alex Jankowski, and we'll see you next time.